I've never seen so many wrecks. Maybe they had souls, too.
What are you talking about? Pull yourself together, Lago. My patience is wearing thin.
A man my age holds certain beliefs.
That, of course, was the trailer to Blood Machines, a series that just came out on Shudder just last month. And it has some very cool music by Carpenter Brute. And it's actually directed by who I thought was a real person. Come to find out, the name Seth Ickerman is a pseudonym. It's a combination of two other people, apparently. And so basically, it looks to be like this was some kind of like 45-minute short film, which is an unusual length. Sometimes those are called mini features, oddly. It's just an uncommon runtime. Anything over 60 minutes is considered a feature, and this clearly fell below that, so I think they split it into 3 parts. Because the credits are pretty padded, so it looks as if this was not it was not conceived as a series. I don't believe. That being said, I think it's very cool. It's referred to as a cosmic opera, and so you have a lot of very cool music. And you hear in the trailer that there's this sort of myth that the spaceships actually have souls because they're controlled by artificial intelligence. And some people refer to this as a feminist film because the ships are all considered women, and then when their soul is freed from the ship, they become very powerful. And so it's a pretty fascinating film. The colors are amazing. The special effects are a really nice combination. Like, it's very clearly CGI, but it's done in a way that has an old-fashioned aspect to it. It feels like these things are really built. It sort of has a toy model feel to certain way that a certain way that the spaceships are portrayed. So I found it to be really excellent. Whereas in most cases, mainstream CGI is a real turnoff. This was really great. Almost like the way a lot of people felt about Sin City when it came out. It used a lot of CGI, but it was just so effectively used that it was like it became a positive. And so I think that's the case with this one. So there's some nudity in it. There's some a little violence. So this is something I wanted to add in there too. It's kind of strange, but Carpenter Brute and a lot of his music, you see, there's the upside down cross symbol, and there's a lot of upside down crosses in the Blood Machines series. So I wanted to sort of talk about the cross of St. Peter, it's called, or the Petron cross. It's an inverted Latin cross, traditionally used as a Christian symbol, but in recent times also used as an anti-Christian symbol. In Christianity, it's associated with the martyrdom of Peter, the apostle. The symbol originates from Catholic tradition when he was sentenced to death. Peter requested that he be crucified upside down because he felt unworthy of being crucified in the same manner as Jesus. The Petron cross is also associated with the Pope, the Catholic belief that the Pope is the successor of Peter as the Bishop of Rome. So it's an odd thing because the upside down cross is actually the opposite of, you call it anti-Christian, but you could also call it Satanism. So, you could say in modern times it's become a symbol of Satanism if you're using it that way, but it was originated as totally the opposite of that. Someone like Peter just didn't feel like he was even worthy to be crucified in the normal manner. So it's an odd thing to throw into blood machines. The upside down cross is seen on a lot of nude women, and I don't know if maybe the symbolism for that is trying to say that this feminist movement is sort of upturning some of the traditional Catholic beliefs of the patriarchy and things like that. It is possible that that's a message, or it is possible that is just a carpenter brute just think it's cool. There's also several Pentagon shapes, 5-sided, which is very similar to the pentagram, which is also referred to as Satan's stars. So I think you can draw that conclusion, the pentagram to the Pentagon, and that's another sort of satanic sort of Easter egg that they kind of throw in. Worth checking out. That being said, check it out. It's on Shudder. So a lot of cool things have happened. I'm going to talk about my newest feature for a second. For those listening, if somehow you stumbled across this and don't know who I am, currently I'm probably most known for the VHS Massacre 1 and 2 documentaries that focus on the video store era. The second one focuses more on how important exploitation films are actually to society. It sort of makes the case that the mainstream creates content that ebbs and flows in regard to how much it will push the boundaries as far as violence and sexuality and other moral acceptability issues. And the place where that is picked up is the exploitation movement. And because exploitation filmmakers will do the things that the mainstream will not do at certain times. So in the 50s and 60s, juvenile delinquent films were made by exploitation movements because the studios didn't want to make films about badly behaved teenagers. And then in the 70s, it was biker films and black exploitation and a bunch of underserved audiences that exploitation was totally willing to go into and to serve. And and it was obviously to make a buck, but that is the whole studio system. So it really is the yin to the studio system yang, and to some degree, I think in a way it aligns the mainstream more than you would think. So I think because where the mainstream is missing out, the studio system will always look to exploitation films and independent films to see where they're missing revenue, and if it resonates within the exploitation in an independent scene, they usually grab it and rip it off, and then, so that's essentially how it works. So one of the cool things is Troma just announced, they told me that they're going to be moving forward with the VHS Massacre 2 Blu-ray, which is really wonderful. And in 2020, it's a real honor because, physical media, it is on the decline in some regard, although as the streaming services become greedier and greedier, I think people are turning to physical media as a way of preserving the films that they like, because they know that those streaming sites will, if you quote unquote buy the film, you can only really rely on that for a couple of years. Like I've had stuff removed from my permanent library on Amazon, as well as thousands of other people. So, you don't really, you're always sort of buying a license even when you're buying a physical item, but you can keep rewatching that for years. So I value my collection of VHS, of DVD, and of Blu-ray. And also they look awesome. So we're working on the Blu-ray now. Tom D'Amico from Troma is kicking ass and getting everything together. And there should be some really cool extras on there. So there's some director commentary and extended scenes. And there should be a bunch of very cool Troma trailers on there. So very happy about that. Another thing is that the LA Film Forum gave us an honorable mention laurel for the film, which is pretty amazing, because that is more of a mainstream thing. So VHS Massacre 2 is in my opinion performed very well in the festival circuit. It's won 11 awards so far, and probably another 5 other nominations, and that is really unexpected and unusual. What I did is I gave up on things like Sundance and Slamdance, and I was just tired of bankrolling their shitty studio festival for the last 20 years. And so, because, people like me are paying these submission fees, and it adds up. Like Sundance probably gets $1 million worth of submission fees, and they probably, and I'm sure they claim that is nothing compared to the other revenue they take in. But I don't care what they say. That's paying for some interns or something. So essentially, it's people like me and you, if you're a filmmaker, who bankroll these film festivals that are essentially controlled by the studio system. So I got really sick of it, and so when I went on Film Freeway this time, I tried to pick exclusively exploitation film festivals, awards competitions, and things that I thought that the film would fit in with. But the LA Film Forum was just something that I thought they had played some films in the past that I thought maybe could work with. But it's good. Even the mainstream stuff I'm getting a little recognition for it. And then also we won 2 awards recently at the Underground Indie Film Festival. It won Best Audience Award, or Audience Choice Award, and then Best Documentary. And that's pretty amazing. I don't think I've ever won an Audience Choice Award. So that feels like a really cool thing. So I'm very happy about that. So there's no release date on the Blu-ray yet. We'll see what's going on with that. Another Troma announcement. Troma Dance is happening. The 20th annual Troma Dance on August 7th. And check this out. This is the coolest shit ever. The Mahoning Drive-In is going to host it. Layton, Pennsylvania. I think that's how you say it. Layton, Pennsylvania. So in Pennsylvania, there's this huge drive-in, and Troma is going to be able to have a live event in the middle of all this craziness we're dealing with, because it's all outside. And so that's Friday, August 7th, and Saturday, August 8th. And it's going to be amazing. They're going to be playing films by Dwayne Steeler and Tom D'Amico. And there's going to be a Toxic Avenger screening, Terror Firmer, and then Poultrygeist, which is great. Ooh, they're also playing Return to Nukem High, Volume 2, and Mutant Blast. Mutant Blast, I've yet to see. This film came out on Troma Now, which it's Troma's streaming service. It came out just a month or 2 ago, and it just looks so excellent. I'm so proud to be a part of some of the films that are coming out through Troma, from the guys who did Mutant Blast to the Astron 6 guys who did Father's Day with Troma, going all the way back to Matt Stone, Trey Parker, Eli Roth, James Gunn. The list goes on and on. So Troma, I think, is really gaining some ground recently. They've even been streaming on sites like Mubi, which is more of like an art house streaming site, where they're starting to take notice of how important the exploitation film movement was, and Lloyd Kaufman's contribution to that. So I think that's very excellent. So one last thing for VHS Massacre 2, there is a HorrorCon UK. We got into this thing. It's a major, horror convention in the United Kingdom, but they're unsure of a physical screening. They wanted to do something in September 6th and 7th, and that may still happen. I think everyone's a little iffy on how things are going to go with the current situation. That being said, they had some awesome guests like Lance Hendrickson and Amanda Weiss and all these very cool people. So they may do a virtual screening. So that would be another virtual screening, which they have been awesome. Horror Hound Weekend did an awesome virtual screening. Underground Independent Film Festival did one. In Miami Sci-Fi did one for the film. So we're so down for that. The last thing I want to talk about is the new documentary I'm going to start work on. It remains to be seen how long this is going to be. This might be a 20-minute short, so it's unlike the feature-length films I'm used to working on. But so this is the pitch for it. If I asked you who the most listened to the most listened to musician out there was, you might say Beethoven, right? You might go classical. Or maybe you're going to say Beyonce. Or maybe you're going to say the Beatles, right? So maybe it's something like that. But what if I told you probably the most listened to musician, maybe in history, is Kevin MacLeod? You might be saying, who is Kevin MacLeod? Well, Kevin MacLeod is the king of royalty-free music. He's created over 2,000 royalty-free songs that, because they're used hundreds of thousands of times on YouTube, and then in turn, those YouTubes in some cases are watched millions and millions of times, mathematically, he may be the most listened to artist in history. So it's very fascinating. I'm going to be interviewing him and speaking with him, and we're going to sort of try to take a look at some of the things he's inadvertently accomplished. One of his songs got into the Martin Scorsese film Hugo, kind of by accident, and that's an amazing story. Anyway, that's about all I have for now. I just wanted to say thanks everyone for listening. Also, check out the trailer to Blood Machines on YouTube. It's outrageous. All right, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.